What's going on, everybody? It's Pelfrey, and I'm going to do an update on adding another 40-gallon water container to my RODI storage. So as you can see, I have one 40-gallon container that is sitting on some block, and I've cleared out some space there to the right. I'm going to add another 40-gallon container. The only reason that I'm doing this is because these Ace Roto mold tanks used to be free shipping for the 65 and the 75-gallon containers. Roll King has, I guess, kind of caught on, and now they're charging like $150 to ship the 65 and the 75-gallon container. So you can get the 40-gallon container, and it costs about $10 to ship it where I live. So I went ahead and picked up another one before they started to charge $100+ to ship the container. I'm only going to keep RODI water in both of these containers. I'm not going to keep salt water in either one. It's both for fresh water only. And I'm doing this, I already fill up this full 40 gallons. And then what I normally do is I fill up a couple of these containers. So I'm already almost making 80 gallons whenever I run my RODI unit. 80 gallons in my system should last me close to 2 months. So that means I'm only going to be running my system about 6 times a year. So what I did was on Reef to Reef, I've mimicked this stand completely from a guy on Reef to Reef, minus the fact that he got a 48-inch stand and I got a 36-inch stand. So there's my other container. It is sitting upside down. I rinsed it out with fresh water with the water hose last night just to spray off any residue or anything that would have been in the container. So I did pick up this Husky 36-inch wide, 18-inch long, 72-inch high storage rack, and it is a 4,000 pound total capacity with a 1,000 pound per shelf capacity. So what I've done here is, get this out of the way, you can see that I have a bottom shelf, a second shelf, and a third shelf right on top of it, and then I have the fourth shelf at the very top. So I went to Home Depot earlier and I got a piece of plywood cut. So this is pretty thick, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, something like that. So directly underneath this plywood is a metal grate. So I'm going to stick the plywood on top of the metal grate and then the containers. And it's just going to kind of help it distribute the weight a little bit more, because this metal grate does have a little bit of flexing whenever you put some weight on it. So when you pull this out, what I've done is I've stacked some 2x4s that I had left over on top of the grate. And that's just to kind of help it. I mean, it's not going to be putting any pressure on those 2x4s just because of the height there. But it's peace of mind. I mean, having those two shelves close together, there's nothing that's going to be in that shelf anyway. So I just went ahead and put the 2x4s there. And if it does happen to bow the plywood there out a little bit, or this metal grate, it should touch the 2x4s, but really there should be no problems there with a 1,000 pound weight capacity and per shelf. Both these containers full will be about 800 pounds. I could have got another shelf locally. I had to actually drive an hour to go get this shelf. The Home Depot in my area does not carry this for whatever reason. It's a Husky 36-inch wide, 18-inch long, 72-inch high shelf. All the other shelves that I found locally had a particle board floor, no steel rack in it, and I just wasn't going to go for that. I wasn't going to put 800 pounds on a particle board, especially 800 pounds of water. We all know what happens whenever a little bit of water gets on particle board. It starts to expand and then eventually it fails. So what I'm going to do is empty this down at least to a manageable weight. Right now it's about 260 pounds. Empty it down to a manageable weight, pull the blocks out, put this on the, move the rack over in this area, put this container on the rack, put the other container on the rack, and then I'm going to actually plumb them together, but they're not going to be circulating water or anything. So we'll get to that whenever I get to that point. So this is pretty much the final product here. I got some pieces I need to get still to finish the plumbing on them. Of course, this is the container that I drained a little bit. and moved it off of the block. And the container on the right has been empty. I washed it out last night. But all in all, working out great. Like I said, I got this idea off of Reef to Reef. There's a water change station thread, I believe. And the guy that I actually got the shelf idea from has the 48-inch version width-wise. So I went with 36 to not take up as much space. I don't need all of it, but you can see I got some storage underneath here. I got a little bit of storage on the top there, and that jug is full of 5 gallons of water, and that metal grate's holding it just fine. I have no issues about this container or the stand in general. So kind of what I've done here is I had these pieces already, so I went ahead and used them, but I need to order or go buy another slip to threaded 3/4 inch adapter. So I went ahead and used True Union ball valves. CJ used these and bought all of his from Supply House, so I got on Supply House's website. These are like $4 or $5, something like that. Nothing here has to be perfect. It's never going to be under any pressure. So what's going to happen is this one's glued up until the T here. I need to connect this piece and glue it to this ball valve. And then what I may do is I may actually glue a gate valve at the bottom of that T. It's not needed, but for my sake and to keep the kids from coming in here and maybe turning one of these knobs, I'll probably put that ball valve on there. And it's just another thing that if they do happen to turn one of these to the on position, then the water's not going to come out. So I'm not going to be recirculating this water or anything. I just went ahead and done it this way. I already had the ball valves, already had the PVC parts. I could have very well just did a little 90 and come down, but ultimately it would have stuck down a lot farther than what I needed it to. I needed to at least get a 5-gallon bucket underneath it. But I'm happy with the way that it turned out. It's not taking up a lot of space in the garage. Don't pay no attention to this area right here. It's gonna get taken care of at some point. But so far from here over to the left is done. So I need to finish up the plumbing like I said, and then get both these things filled up. So to complete the plumbing, I actually moved the water from this container over into this container, and it's plumbed together 100%. It is a little close, and as far as the plumbing is concerned, and I do use this jug right here with the handle for my auto top-off container. But to alleviate this, a couple 90s and some 3/4 inch PVC pipe. You can see here that I will have no issue filling up a bucket or my container for my auto top-off. Excuse me. So all in all, very happy that I did this. I'll be able to keep 80 gallons of water on hand. Once again, I'm only going to keep fresh water. I'm not going to store salt water. I'm going to make salt water as I need to make it. But that's that. It was a simple project. So it was $76, I think, $76. The PVC parts I already had. So we'll say that there's probably $10, $12 there. The thread fittings were a couple dollars a piece. And then the ball valves here, the True Union ball valves I got from Supply House, they were like $2 or $3 a piece. So all in all, I'd say for a little over $200. I got a water change station, minus, like I said, stored the salt water. But this will keep me from running my RODI system on a regular basis. This should allow me to run it every 2 months, I believe. So I'm pretty happy with this. The ball valves work as they should, and they're True Union, so I can pull this side offline if I need to, or this side offline if I need to, just as long as there's no water in the container. If by some chance I do have one of the containers full and I need to pull it offline for whatever strange reason, I could just drop a pump that I have in this one and pump the water in back and forth in either one if I had to. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, would love to hear them. Leave them in the comment section below. If you have a water change station, please leave it in the comment section below. I'd love to check it out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.